the non-call that happens at the end of regulation would be deflating. And then, so how do you emotionally and as a group say, let it go?
It's hard, but that's why you have a 15-man roster. Everybody kind of collectively. Well, it started with Kyle. He's in his prime. He was the biggest complainer of them all, right? But when you have a guy who's accomplished so much and who's so just witty and he's very smart and he knows the game, he just rallied us all and told us to just forget about it. We got 5 more minutes to go win the basketball game, and we all locked in and came out in overtime, to make the key plays.
Kelly, obviously the change in the starting lineup, and you came out and performed great. So did Barlow in his extended role. How do you kind of keep ready for that moment for yourself, and what did you see out of Barlow where he made the most out of his?
Dom is just, he's a Swiss Army knife. He's still young, of course, but, we shoot together. We do a lot of things whereas we talk a lot too. So it's just like he's developing into a great NBA player, and he's just like I tell him, just to answer your first part of your question, you just got to be a Swiss Army knife. You got to keep your head focused. Don't worry about the things that are out of your control, and just go out there and put the work in to allow those things to shine. And he does that. He's a great individual, and he has a kind of unorthodox upbringing too, just making it to the NBA. And you could definitely tell the people that's been in his ear, have led him in the right direction. So he'll continue to grow, and he's, a very key piece to this team.
Nick praises your cutting a lot, specifically how you cut off and around Joel. I guess, have you been able to refine that with him over your time playing with him?
Yeah, we have the same trainer too, so it kind of helps. But no, I do not work on cutting in our workouts in the summer. But I've always been a slasher, and then having a guy who creates as much energy around him as Joel is just, if my man goes to double, or if somebody's not looking, or they're not worried about the weak side, then that's a free lane to just cut into the paint and potentially give him an easy assist or free somebody else up for a jumper. So it's more than just me getting the ball, but it's more about, moving bodies and moving the defense around.
One thing that you have worked on, and we've talked about this before, but is the jump shot from deep especially, and 4 for 5 tonight. I mean, just how do you feel being able to do that in the start, at home? How do you feel your confidence level in the shot right now?
You just put the work in, man. You have to trust it. That's all it is. It's just being confident in those positions and having faith that your shot will go in, and you follow the right discipline, and just do with the things you work on in the practice court. And just continue to just try not to get too high, not to get too low. Obviously, we all miss, but at the end of the day, it's just about the next shot. The next shot you believe is going to go in, and you put the right effort into making sure it does, and it does. So, yeah, it's just about staying ready for when I'm open, shooting the good ones, and just trusting the work that I put in.
It's been 2 years to the day that Joel scored 70, and then
really today? It was 2 years ago today.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then tonight's obviously like maybe his best game since the injury 2 years ago. You've been here, been one of the guys who've been here for all of it. I guess. What do you remember from that night, and what have you made of these 2.5 years that you've been here? How quickly has it gone for you?
Dude, that's crazy to think about. But I mean, for me personally, like, it's been a roller coaster, of course, but at the end of the day, we are still able to find joy in the game of basketball, still able to go out there and compete at a very high level, and he is as well, and I'm just super proud of him for just getting through the adversity, blocking out the outside noise about his personal health and, things that a 7-foot, however much he weighs, a giant, right? Like, no one else can put themselves in his shoes. So a lot of people talk about him and the things he has to deal with, but you try being that big and only playing basketball and, really getting into structured sports at 16, it's kind of almost impossible. So he's defying the odds, and I'm trying to do the same thing in my own lane. And, just continue to build. Like I said, I found a lot of joy, playing basketball at a high level here, and I know he has too. So, he's been here a very long time, and just to have the pieces around him that he can be comfortable and go to war with, I mean, I'm happy to be a part of it.
What do you remember about that night when he scored 70?
I don't know. It was a lot, but obviously Wemby was, on the other end of that, and it's just a legacy thing, I think, for him, and trying to insert his dominance and show Wemby or whoever it is. He always has been like this. It doesn't matter who it is, that he's here to play and he's here to stay and he's the guy. So I just think it was good to see that. He still had crust in his eyes too from his pregame nap. So I think it was pretty crazy that he scored 70 points barely awake. But, yeah, that's just how good he is. So
Kelly, you always preach the importance of you bringing energy on the defensive end and how that transfers into everything else. That sequence you had against Şengün in the second half where knocked it out of bounds twice and then you ultimately missed it. Could you feel what that did for not just your group but the whole building when that play happened?
yeah, but like I'm a shooting guard, small forward, whatever you want to call me, power forward. But obviously, as a huge center posting you up, you have to do something to disrupt the rhythm of that and not make it easy. And I think that over there, they thought it was just going to be an easy post up, post me up, or whatever. And no, I just tried to be disruptive. Obviously, yeah, it sucks because they were all looking depleted every time they tried to throw it in and it wasn't complete. But yeah, it's just about me trying my best to stop him from getting the momentum to go score. Because once he gets me under the basket, I'm out. I'm done. Right. So yeah, I was just trying to make those effort plays to make sure that I rallied the guys behind me to come to help if he does get this ball. But I don't want him to get it. So I think my will was better than their way. So yeah.
Kelly, I know you haven't had a lot of opportunity with this particular group that you started with today, but just the versatility, like we talked about before, from all of you guys, the passing, the shooting, the defense, what do you really feel is the potential of that starting five group together?
I think it is a very high potential. We still have VJ had a pretty slow night, compared to the spark that he brings, and Paul as well, right? So any given night, man, you can throw anybody in a position and they'll step up to the plate. So I think that the versatility is key. The grit and the defensive tenacity is great, especially throwing Dom in there too. Throwing Bari in there who comes in and brings a lot of energy. T.Y. can be versatile and handle the ball as well. So this is a lot down the line that, we can hang our hats on and just it's up to the coaches and, everybody up there to play those matchup games and, play that. But I think that the sky's the limit, if we continue to just find that groove and find that rhythm.
Did Nick let you know ahead of time that you'd be starting? Like, obviously, he let you know ahead of time, but how early before the game did he let you know?
Shoot around, it was, yeah. So, yeah, it's like I said, that's above me. But at the end of the day, like, I know where I want to be and I know where I do belong. And, it's up to me to go out and prove that.
So did Joel let you all know, like, he had the triple-double?
No, he didn't say it. I just found that out just now.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's how humble he is, man. Shout out Joel.
Great.